Good evening, welcome back. Tonight I've got a treat for you if you're interested, and I'm going to Welcome to CWC Art and Soul with Catherine. Now let's get exploring and have some fun. Talk to you about the journey of my acrylic art, in particular this painting that surprised and delighted me. First it disappointed me, and you'll see why. My intention was to show you how I do balloon kiss paintings, and this was I did this a while ago, but I didn't do it on camera, so I thought I would take a minute and I would show you the process. And this is another one this is part of a set of 3 called Art Language, and I also use the balloon kisses in this one. And so I thought, oh, well, I haven't done this on camera, so maybe I'll do this tonight. Well, the universe had something else in mind, so I'm going to show you that process and talk about some of the insights I got along there. And so if you like that kind of content, watching me paint, explore, discover, get some insights, and as well as share some insights on life while I'm painting, this is for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and let's get into the painting right now. I'm just going to do a little voiceover here in certain places, and I'll add some music. You can relax and watch if you enjoy that kind of thing, or you can speed up the video if you want to just rush right through. But I'm hoping you'll relax with me while I paint. This is I've taped the sides with painter's tape, and I had previously painted the sides black to already cover that part, and then I won't paint over the sides. That was the intention. But this is how I start. Lay in the base of the black, and then I added some yellow and teal. It's kind of a light green actually. And then violet, African violet, and some white, and then just kind of manipulated the spread it around a little bit with my palette knife, and then after I do that I will add the blue on the top. So you'll see that in a few minutes. So the intention is to do a split base, and so that's why I'm spreading the light blue. I've added a little bit of metallic, gold metallic to the black part, and also some rose gold. But I ended up not liking that rose gold. But you'll see that in a few if you stick with me. I think you'll be probably surprised at the end. I was extremely surprised, and I'll explain as we go along what I think was happening with this painting. What was my intuition showing me? What was being revealed? So if you're curious, stick with me. And this I use just reusable, washable straw to blow the paint around to blend it together to create sort of a smoky wisps, or to just make certain colors blend with other colors. Now I've started here with the balloon kisses. This is just a little ordinary balloon that I fill with a little bit of water. I don't make it too big. It's a gentle kiss. It's not a hammer. So because all I'm doing is pulling up the paint and then moving it to somewhere else on the painting. And I love the results of this. For some reason, this was not the intention of what wanted to happen, but you can see how it's developing with the different colors, and then the kind of turbulence on the bottom part of the painting. A lot of emotion, a lot of chaos, and although, chaos sometimes can be quite beautiful when you think of giving birth, or you think of, blossom coming open. There's a little bit of chaos and struggle there, and I think this is a little bit what I was picking up on. But it's not just my energy I pick up on. I pick up on the energy of the collective. So I used my palette knife to create these lines, and I'm really just following what wants to happen. That's basically it. I have no real clear intention of how this is supposed to look. There's no supposed to in my paintings. There's just, oh, this would be fun. And so that's where I'm going with this. So we've got a split base, a lot of different colors on the bottom, and then I'm just using my hairdryer to blow out any bubbles that might have formed from me moving the paint around. And it's just a very low heat. So I'm not burning the paint, but I'm not moving it around. I'm just, knocking out any air bubbles that might be there. All right, so we'll keep going here, and I will let you know if there's something that seems like it needs an explanation. So this didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to, I just didn't feel like it was finished. There was just something so much more that actually wanted to be expressed here. The contrast was not coherent. It wasn't complementary. The light blue, and there was a little gold rose in that light blue in the little fairy type expressions. None of that was fitting with the chaos that was going on the bottom. And actually, I had somebody else look at it and said, it looks so violent. And then what was that stuff on the top? It just didn't make sense. And I thought, well, I don't know. I tried to rationalize that. Well, maybe it does. So I left it for a couple of days. And then I thought, no, there's something else here. So I taped off the bottom, which I actually liked on its own. I liked all that movement and energy and what was going on there. It felt like rivers and rushing water, streams and energy, like cleansing, but also that it wasn't soothing as much as it was change, really big energetic change. And so that's when I started thinking, okay, I'm going to start with the black as the base on the top. And then I will add some different gold metallic and white and the teal, more teal, and a little bit of the African violet, some soft blue, just to see what wanted to happen. And what wanted to happen was something very, very different. And I used a little piece of plastic I used to just kind of swipe the paint colors across the canvas. And so I did that first. And although I liked it, it still wasn't right. And so I kept on using my palette knife and swiping some more. And then that's when I started to clue in what was actually revealing itself to me. And it was interesting because at first, when it was more or less finished with the blue on the top, what I thought it was showing me, two worlds. As you go up higher in vibration in the air is, when you're climbing a mountain and you get higher up, it gets harder to breathe because the air is so light. And I thought that's kind of what this was showing me, was the division of where we're at collectively. We're still kind of in the turmoil, in the chaos, and yet looking up at this, what we're hoping for, this different world, this lightness that was in the blue, and the light breezes and the light, fairies dancing and floral petals flying, and it was just soft and such a contrast. It's too big of a contrast. And I was thinking that that's a little bit like what we're going through on the planet right now, is this revelations of all the corruption that's going on, and at the same time wanting so much for peace and harmony and fairness and equality and joy, and just, to be able to breathe, be able to be in that blue sky and softness. And yet that turmoil was also quite beautiful, in the golds and the black and all the different violet and blue, all kind of churning up together, sorting itself out. And so that's where I started getting the idea, this is why it didn't work any more than you can walk into a room with people who are filled with fear and hate and be feeling, joyful and, hi, how are you? Life is great, and they're not feeling it. There's a kind of a big divide there. And to get across that divide, there has to be something else first. We have to allow for the chaos, the turmoil, the churning of the waters that dig up, when the water, when you have a tsunami, it just takes the bottom of the ocean and throws it on the shore and says, here, look at your junk. And that's what I feel like was happening here. But there's more. there's more. Stick with me because more became clear to me as this painting continued. Still with me? I hope so. I took the tape off and the plastic now, and I'm just doing touch-ups with the brush because the edges were a little sharp and I wanted to smooth that off and soften it because I felt like it wasn't a big divide anymore. It wasn't that big separation. It was a revelation, but you could see that there was more happening, more mixing of the energies, and it felt calmer and interestingly. So, and as I continued with the brush and a little bit more with my palette knife, I started to see that I was creating kind of like rock formations in the black. And by the time we're finished, I hope you can see, because I'm going to show it to you in different light, and that's how it is when there's no light on it. If you walked into a dark room and saw it, the black portion on that one, the top side, I call it top side, the black portion looks quite black. It almost looks like you're not sure, you have to move in. You can see a little bit of sparkle, but not much. And the bottom is just being itself, churning and this rushing water. And then I created a little bit of kind of steam around the outside edges because I feel like there's that it felt like the black was a cave, like a big, where you look into a cave and there's moisture dripping, and there's gems and minerals that are reflecting the light inside the cave, filled with hidden gems and mysteries and wonder. And the water is kind of rushing out, but it's rushing out in this, turning things up. So I felt like it was telling me that we have to look into the dark, and when we shine the light, it becomes magical. Then you really can see all the gems, the treasures, the secrets that are waiting for us. And so it isn't obvious, it's not in your face, but depending on the way the painting is sitting and what light is hitting it is how you will see the different formations. And I think it's intriguing. I was very surprised, but it made sense to me. And I'm hoping that, you feel the same way. It's not for sale yet because I have to let it dry, let it cure, and then I will put, I think I'm going to put a satin seal on it, maybe a gloss, but we'll see what the satin looks like first, because I just feel like all the gold that's in there and the metallics will sparkle on their own, and we'll see if it does. So I will let you continue to watch. I think that's really the revelation. And when you see it, I have video that's going to follow here where I'm going to show it to you in different light. And that will give you a sense of what a different story it turned out to be. So it was a balloon kiss, but it was also a swipe. It was also a revelation. It was also so much more. And I love that. That's why I paint. It's being creative and listening to the energies, feeling into them, and knowing when that's just not right, when something just doesn't feel like it's not the message that I'm getting, that I'm picking up on. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you stuck with me this far. And if you did, fantastic. And if you're interested in any of my art, please go to the website. At this time, I'm only able to ship my original acrylic art in Canada, and my fashions do ship to the US. But as I mentioned in a previous video, which I'll link for you, about the Canadian situation, that if we, it could be difficult if we end up having tariffs, but depends on when you're watching this. But for now, I just going to let you finish watching and enjoy. And please subscribe, like it if you do, share it if you like it and you want other people to see my work. And also, please comment and let me know what you think. If it's boring or, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this for the pure entertainment and what I can offer the world through my creativity. And then, and hopefully, if you actually love my work and you want to support me, then yes, purchase my fashions, purchase my art, and invest in it. It does make a difference. I think art makes a difference in the world, and I feel like my art has a place, and I would love to hear your feedback on that. Thanks so much. until next time, take care.